What's up, guys, and welcome back to Down to the Wire. The NBA is upon us. The NBA season is finally here. And like I did for the NFL, I'm going to give a brief overview of what I think is going to happen, some individual awards, who's going to win the finals, obviously, and just give you some of my thoughts. Now, like I said, I'm going to start with my awards. My 2019 to 2020 MVP is Stephen Curry. Now, I know this is going to sound like a shock. Steph Curry, how could he win MVP with the team that he's on? Let's be honest. The team that he's on has fallen apart. The team that he's on has fallen apart. It lost its best player, Kevin Durant, to the offseason, to my Brooklyn Nets. Thank God for that. It has lost Klay Thompson for the remainder of the season. Just got announced by Steve Kerr today that Klay Thompson will not be coming back this season due to an ACL injury. Team has no bench and acquired D'Angelo Russell. Let's get one thing straight here. D'Angelo Russell is a very talented player. Very talented player. I watched him all last season in Brooklyn, and I fell in love with his game. I loved watching D'Angelo Russell play. But I'm going to be realistic here. D'Angelo Russell is not going to be as much of an impact as you would believe. D'Angelo Russell is a high-volume shooter. D'Angelo Russell will take 18 shots a game and come out of the game with 18 points. That is just how D'Angelo Russell operates. He's going to take a lot of shots, he's going to miss a lot of shots, and he's going to make a lot of shots. That's it. He is going to give you 20 points. He's going to give you about 20 points a night, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, and maybe a steal if you're lucky. Steph Curry's numbers are going to return to MVP numbers immediately. Steph Curry is the most influential player in the league right now. I know, how could you say that? LeBron is in the league still. LeBron didn't switch every single team in the NBA's game. Just think about it. If you're a center and you can't shoot a mid-range jumper to a 3, you're useless now. Especially if you're a small forward. Look what we're doing to Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons can't develop a 3, people are ready to trade him. Steph Curry shifted the balance of the league. And I hate using influence as an argument when I argue anything, music, sports. I hate using influence. Because somebody can be as influential as possible but not necessarily be good. Allen Iverson had a hell of an influence in the league. Is he better than Larry Bird? No. Is he better than Tim Duncan? Absolutely not. No. Influence is great, but it doesn't make up for skill. What Stephen Curry has is the perfect mix of both. He is the greatest shooter to ever grace the court. To ever grace the hardwood, Stephen Curry is the best shooter ever. That is not debatable. If you were debating that, you must have something wrong with yourself. He has great handles, and for a guy who's 6'3" and skinny, he plays defense. And by defense, I do not mean I'm going to sit in the paint and block your shot. I mean he has the uncanny ability to fill gaps with ease and to get steals, clog the lane as a 6'3" point guard in the league. Stephen Curry is going to average around 31 points this year. 31 points. He doesn't have anybody to compete with besides D'Angelo Russell. Draymond Green has no offensive game whatsoever anymore. He can't shoot. He cannot shoot. The only reason he's still on that team is because he still plays a semblance of defense. Draymond Green can't shoot. Klay Thompson, who can shoot, is not there anymore. Kevin Durant is not there anymore. And all he has to do is share reps with D'Angelo Russell. The Warriors are going to make the playoffs in the West as a 5 to 6 seed. This is not going to be an easy season for them. But Stephen Curry is going to put up absurd numbers. Absurd numbers. I'm looking at 31 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals. I'm looking at an absurd amount of numbers. I said 2 steals, yes. I believe Steph Curry is going to have 1.7 to 2 steals this season. He's going to go to an absurd amount that we haven't seen since his unanimous MVP. I am fully confident. I don't see LeBron James winning the MVP like Stephen A. Smith does. Because I think that Anthony Davis, having a top 5 player on your team along with LeBron James, is just way too much help. When was the last time a player won on a team that had a legitimate superstar, a top 5 player on it? It hasn't happened. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't. You have to have a storyline of struggle on a team. And let's be honest here, This is the first time the Warriors have ever had a struggle since blowing a 3-1 lead. This is the first bit of adversity they've faced besides injury last year in the playoffs since blowing a 3-1 lead. This right here. And I think when Stephen Curry shows up, guides his Warriors to a 5th to 6th seed, MVP voters are going to look at that, and I think they're going to award him the 2019 to 2020 MVP. I'm locking in Stephen Curry. Next, let's get into Rookie of the Year. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Zion Williamson may be the scariest player I've ever watched in my entire life, and it is not in a good way. Watching a player play at the speed that he plays, carrying the weight that he plays on those knees, is terrifying. It is like watching a 265-pound Derrick Rose, and there is nothing good about it besides his play. I said it before he'd come in the league, and I'm going to stick by it now, because so far I've been proven right. He is not going to last in the league unless he trims down to at least 250. He's simply not going to last. His knees can't take it. He's already torn his meniscus. He's already torn his meniscus before the season started. This is not a good pattern to fall down, or else you're looking at Joel Embiid unless you're looking at a fast Joel Embiid. His knees, his body can simply not handle this anymore. He needs to cut down to 250, and I get it. Rookies almost always lose weight when they enter the league at first. You're burning about 6,000 calories a night. Of course you're going to lose weight. But Zion needs a diet plan or something, for God's sake. You're in Louisiana. I get it. The food there is outstanding. But your knees are more important. Your knees are your livelihood. You cannot go out there risking injury every single night because you're carrying that much weight. I'm taking Zion Williamson completely out of my Rookie of the Year race because of this. He's missing 6 to 8 weeks immediately. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's injured halfway through the season. Again, knock on wood here, but I wouldn't be shocked. So what does that lead us with? That leads us with Ja Morant, Tyler Hero, and RJ Barrett. Tyler Hero looked like a stud this preseason. An absolute stud. I'm not going to be shocked if Miami comes out of nowhere in the East and becomes a 4th to 5th seed. I would not be shocked because this kid played like an animal. An animal. RJ Barrett, you're in New York. That immediately bumps any chance of winning an award ever. If you're in the Big Apple and you play decent, your chances of winning an award go up exponentially. But I'm rocking with Ja Morant. I am rocking with Ja Morant. Because this kid looks like Westbrook, except he doesn't look like he's going to be stubborn enough to not learn how to shoot. I was a huge Ja Morant fan in the draft. I thought that he was the best player. I thought that all things considered, considering injury, Ja Morant was the best player. And I believe he's going to prove that this season. I believe that Ja Morant is going to come out and take this Rookie of the Year award by storm. I think that the voters are going to love his style of play for once. I think that just his style of play alone is going to cause voters to lose their mind. He's going to be a mini Westbrook. He's going to be baby Westbrook. Just everything. He unlike Zion, he needs to put a little bit of weight on. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. I'd like to see him around 190 to 200. He's 6'3", stands roughly about Westbrook size. I'd like to see him getting a little bit of weight. But still, he flies. And I know you're going to say Zion flies, but there's a difference when you see a 6'3" guy fly and a 6'8", and a 6'6" guy fly. There's a little bit of a difference. He plays with an intensity that I only see in Russell Westbrook or Derrick Rose in his prime. He plays with an intensity that is absurd. I think voters are going to lick up his stats. I think they're going to lick up his play style. I'm locking in Ja Morant as my 2019-2020 MVP. Next, let's get into Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert has won it the past 2 years. It's because of this that I believe no matter how well Rudy Gobert does, voters will not vote him 3 times in a row. That would be unheard of. There is no way I foresee that voters will go with Rudy Gobert for a 3rd straight year. That is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. Instead, what I think the easiest option for them to do is to go to the second place voter, Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek Freak is an animal. Okay, he really is. He faced literally no adversity until Kawhi Leonard stole his dinner. Okay, Kawhi Leonard is the best defender of this generation, by far. And he, let's be honest, he really just had his way with Giannis. But besides that, the only thing, the only clink, the only chip in Giannis's armor in his game is his jump shot. He suffers from Ben Simmons syndrome, except he plays defense higher than Ben Simmons will ever play defense. He's easily a top 3 player in the league when it comes to defense. And with Kawhi Leonard is going to be taking rest games. Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James are going to be taking rest games, which is going to affect my final rankings of those teams in the West. They will be taking rest games, and the only player that will not be taking rest games is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Especially with the loss of Malcolm Brogdon, he's going to be playing every single game this season, barring injury, and you will be seeing your Defensive Player of the Year in Milwaukee this season. Next, let's go to Coach of the Year. I'm going to go with the coach that is going to lead this team, the coach of this team that is going to win that's going to come out of the Western Conference Finals as the number 1 seed. And that's Mike Malone of the Denver Nuggets. I believe that the Denver Nuggets are going to come out with the best record of the regular season. Does this mean they're going to make it to the Western Conference Finals, come out of the West, and go to the Finals? No. Not even close. No. This Nuggets team has only gotten better. First of all, they are the best home team in the league. They are easily the best home team in the league, and they play in Denver where they have an altitude advantage. That alone is huge in the league, especially if they get the 1 seed and they have to play this, and the league has to play through them. The West has to play through them. That is dangerous for the league. Mike Malone, as the coach of this team, that's going to come out of nowhere and take the Western Conference, as I believe, and take the number 1 seed. That is a near automatic. That's just near automatic win. That's the trump card. If you come out of the West with LeBron and Kawhi Leonard and you come out of the number 1 seed, there's not much of an argument you can make for anybody else. There's really not. Unless the Hornets become the number 1 seed, that's it. I believe that it's all but set in stone that Mike Malone will win this award if the Nuggets come out on top, like I believe they will. The team is deep. The team plays outstanding at home. They have an altitude advantage. Everything about them I love. I believe they're going to finish first in the West. And because of that, I'm going with Mike Malone. Next, let's go to 6th Man of the Year. I was mulling over this one for a little while. And eventually it came down to 2 people. Derrick Rose and Lou Williams. Derrick Rose, I wanted to put Derrick Rose here. I really wanted to. Partially it's the story. Partially it's the fact that everybody loves Derrick Rose. If somebody tells you that they don't like Derrick Rose, they're lying to you. You can't not like this guy. His story is tragic. Tragic. But last year it was magical when he started playing. When he started getting into the groove of things, it was magical. Everybody loves Derrick Rose. He plays with an intensity, even now with his knees. He plays so hard every single play. It's beautiful to watch. He's on a Pistons team that is going to be struggling to make the playoffs because just recently Blake Griffin got announced that he will be missing time. Derrick Rose is going to have to put a lot of effort into this team. The whole team's going to have to play up. Andre Drummond, who I believe is the most underrated player in the year, every single year, is going to have to show up and perform and not just put up absurd rebounds, but also put points up on the board. But I have to go with the guy that comes off the bench and gives you 23 like it's friggin' effortless. I have to give it to Lou Williams. I have to. Every single year he wins this. It literally should be called the Lou Williams Award. It literally should be called it. He comes off the bench effortlessly every single year and just drops these points like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. There's not a major clink in it. There's not a major thing in his game that's bad. He's just there, and he always puts up points every single year. Last year he put up 20 with ease. And it's just become a constant. it's just let me read you his stats for the past couple years. Points. 20 last year, 22 the previous year, 14, 18, 17, 15. It's just constantly high double-digit numbers every single year. He's a great shooter. There's not anything you can really criticize in his game. And I'm not going to sit up here and put Derrick Rose, who's had a history of injury, as much as it hurts me to say it, ahead of somebody that has been the model of consistency at the six-man position. Next, I'm going to talk about most improved player. I'm going to talk about the player that I was the highest on a couple drafts ago. And that's Marvin Bagley. I was almost certain that Marvin Bagley was the best player in the draft. All right? I was almost certain. I was so high on Marvin Bagley coming out of Duke that it was absurd. And let's be honest here, he had a good season last year. Put up 15 points, half a steal, a block, 7 total rebounds, and 1 assist. In this Kings team, with Buddy Hield, expect Marvin Bagley to put up 20 points this year. Expect Marvin Bagley to become a 20 and 10 scorer. I believe this. I truly believe Marvin Bagley is going to explode this season. I think he's going to become a better shooter, better free throw shooter. I think that everything that can go right for Marvin Bagley is going to go right this season. I'm expecting a 20-10 season. 20 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.5 block, and a steal. I'm expecting him to be one of the best young players this season. And the other player that comes to mind is Lonzo Ball. That is the other player that comes to mind. And I think the amount of talent that is on that Pelicans team when Zion gets back is just too high for him to get the statistical numbers that is needed to warrant this award. And because of that, I think I have to go with Marvin Bagley here. As much as I hate Duke with every fiber of my being, I like Marvin Bagley. I respect him. He seems like a great guy. Good rapper. And yeah, I'm locking in Marvin Bagley as my most improved player. Now let's get into why you're really here. All right. Who is going to win the NBA Finals? What is the matchup going to be? Who's going to win it? I've said this the second that the Clippers acquired Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers are going to win the NBA Finals. And I don't think they're really going to face much competition. Let me get one thing straight right now. This Clippers team is the best defensive team in the league, bar none, far and away, by a mile. They have the best defender of the generation, Kawhi Leonard. In my life, I have seen 2 players that have come close to MJ. 2 players that have reminded me of MJ. I was too young to ever see MJ play, but in every single video I've ever watched of MJ playing, believe me, I've watched a lot of them. There's only been 2 players that remind me of MJ. One is Kobe Bryant. I've always said Kobe Bryant is a worse version of MJ. I'm right. If you think that he's better than MJ, you are on crack. They look alike, for one. They look alike. They have the same build. Bald Kobe looked like bald Michael from behind. Obviously not in the face, but they looked alike. He wore 24. MJ wore 23 and 46. They look alike. Their offensive game. They remind me of each other. If you just watch the two and you could just switch the jerseys, it'd be hard to tell the difference, except that Kobe had a little bit of a better jump shot. That's it. The second player that reminds me of Jordan is Kawhi Leonard. The way that Kawhi Leonard plays defense has the assassin mentality that Jordan has. You can say Kobe had the Mamba mentality. The assassin mentality that Jordan had was different. It was just different. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with that mentality. Kobe had the ability to take a game over. Jordan had the ability to take a player's soul. And Kawhi Leonard has that ability. Like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Giannis. He took Giannis' soul. Kawhi Leonard is about 30 pounds lighter than Giannis. And he moved Giannis around the court like it was nothing. His hands are the size of friggin' dinner plates. and he is constantly pressuring you on the perimeter. He is by far and away the best perimeter defender I've ever seen. He has a beautiful mid-range jump shot that reminds me of Michael. He's not afraid to shoot, evident in the 76ers game where he made possibly the most insane shot I've ever seen in my entire life. Kawhi Leonard is also he's a head case. He's a very strange individual. But being strange, there's obviously something that's different with being strange. There's obviously some sort of gene or something that follows with being strange. Michael was not a normal guy. Michael Jordan has all this money, all this fame, all this wealth, and he's probably still not happy. Because that man was never going to be happy until he is the best and everybody knows it. He's probably still not happy. He probably still wants to do something. And Kawhi Leonard has that to a lesser degree. He doesn't care what other people think. He's a strange, strange man. But he's a god amongst men. In the basketball terms, he's a god amongst men. He was the second best player last year, I believe, behind Steph Curry. Yes, call me a Steph Curry fanboy. I'm okay with that. His game is perfect. Steph Curry's game is perfect in today's NBA, and I don't care what anybody says. Now that I'm done raving about Kawhi Leonard, who else did they acquire? Paul George, an MVP candidate who received MVP votes. They just acquired him out of the blue because Kawhi Leonard has that much influence. When he calls somebody up, they drop everything and request a trade. This team is going to be the best defensive team in the league. Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Zubac, Montrezl Harrell. They are so deep. They have the best bench in the league until Kevin Durant comes back and joins the Nets. Because I believe, and I've said it since the Nets got him, the Nets are going to have the best bench in the league when Kevin Durant gets back next year. But for now, the title of best bench goes to the Clippers. How important is a bench in the NBA, you might ask? Just watch the Warriors series from last year. They lost because of injury, yes, but because they couldn't fill the positions that were lost. Yes, it's hard to fill a Klay Thompson, obviously. He's the second greatest shooter of all time. But if you have a bench, you can plug the wound. You can't stop it from bleeding, but you can buy yourself more time. You could have gotten into a game 7. You could have even won it if you had a shooter near it. Like if you had a JJ Barea or JJ Redick, my bad. If you had a JJ Redick to plug in for Klay Thompson, I would have picked the Warriors to win the series. And on the topic of JJ Redick, let's get into who I think is coming out of the East. I'm going with the 76ers. Adding Al Horford to a team that had the most dominant big man, who had, when healthy, the most dominant big man in the league last season, is a match made in heaven. When Joel Embiid is healthy, Joel Embiid is a monster. I said, and I'll stand by this, I will die on this hill. This is one of the hills I am prepared to die on. When a player cannot stay healthy, when it is a big man with bad knees, you move off of him as quickly as humanly possible. I stand by that. I said that about Joel Embiid. I said the 76ers should have moved on from Joel Embiid, see what they could have gotten, and kept Ben Simmons. Because Ben Simmons, at least he can develop a jump shot. You cannot physically undo knee injuries. But when Joel Embiid is healthy, he might be the best player in the league. The most dominant player in the league. There is such a difference in talent gap at the center position in the NBA currently. It is absurd. Nobody plays the way Joel Embiid plays anymore. Nobody. And he is so good at it when he is not shooting stupid threes. When he takes you to the basket, backs you down, dunks in your face, and then trash talks you the whole way down the court, nobody is better than him at that position. And now you add Al Horford. What can I say? Al Horford is a model of consistency. 13 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. That's what he's going to give you night in, night out. He'll give you a block and a half, and if you're lucky, a steal. He shoots well from the perimeter, shoots well mid-range, knocks down his free throws at an 80% last year. There's not much you can ask for him. Ben Simmons might have developed a 3-point shot, and if he did, we are screwed. The league is screwed. If Ben Simmons can knock down a three 28% of the time, the league is in trouble. Trouble. Big friggin' trouble. The Kardashian curse would be broken at that point. He'd literally be Magic Johnson with a jump shot. He would be Magic Johnson with a jump shot. And it would be a terrible sight. He would become the best player in the league within 3 years if he developed a jump shot. That if he shot 28 to 30%, it'd be over. Will he? No. I'm not going to come up here and say that. There is no way that Ben Simmons developed a jump shot to allow him to shoot 28 to 30% unless he took a sip of Michael Jordan's water from Space Jam. That's it. That's the only way. I don't care if he's been working out with lethal shooter every day of the week. It's not possible we're going to see improvement out of Ben Simmons. Mark my words. The loss of JJ Redick hurts this team, though. It hurts this team badly. One loss that doesn't hurt the team is Jimmy Butler, though. Tobias Harris now doesn't have to compete with Jimmy Butler in practice every single game, and believe me when I say that is going to help chemistry. Was definitely going to help the chemistry. This team is going to be good. This team is going to be very good. I believe they're going to have the best record in the East, and I believe they're going to come out of the East. I believe they're going to play the Clippers in the finals. I believe this series is going to go 5 games. I believe the Clippers are going to take this series in 5 games. I'm going with the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard wins his 3rd Finals MVP, and your 2020 NBA champions are the LA Clippers. LA, you can finally hang a banner up somewhere. I know you've been waiting all your life. You can finally hang that banner up there and worship it every time you enter the stadium. Congratulations. I'm locking in the Clippers as your NBA champions this year. LeBron James, eat your heart out. Like I said, when you signed with the Lakers, you were never going to win a championship with the Lakers. Not enough shooters, bad ownership.